Hello and a very warm welcome to Rajya Sabha television. You're watching the news tonight with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. After a 32-hour-long gun battle, two Lashkar-e-Toiba militants shot dead in Srinagar. Army foils terror attempt in Jammu's Raipur-Domana camp. Defence Ministry approves proposal to acquire arms worth nearly 16,000 crore rupees to strengthen armed forces. President Ramnath Kovind meets over 100 beneficiaries of the Ujjwala Yojana, calls for greater awareness about the scheme. At an interaction with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the beneficiaries shared their experiences about how LPG cylinders have improved their lives. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu urges officers and civil servants to come up with out-of-the-box ideas to ensure proper delivery of services, underscores upliftment of the poorest of poor as the top priority of the government. Tripura Chief Minister Manik Sarkar denies anti-incumbency sentiment against his government, expresses confidence of returning to power for the fifth time in the state. Addressing a poll rally in the state, UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath raises questions over the law and order in Tripura. And South Africa's African Nationalist Congress Party confirms that it's asking President Jacob Zuma to resign from office. Scandal scarred President Zuma expected to respond to recall decision on Wednesday. Well, after a 32-hour-long gun battle in Srinagar, two Lashkar-e-Toiba militants were gunned down on Tuesday. The security operation to flush out the terrorists from the under-construction building in the Karan Nagar area was carried out by a special operations group of the Jammu and Kashmir Police and the CRPF. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti paid tributes to 5 army men who lost their lives in the Sunjwan military camp attack last week. Two Lashkar-e-Toiba militants were killed on Tuesday after a 32-hour-long gun battle between security forces and terrorists in Srinagar's Karan Nagar area. The encounter between militants and security forces started on Monday after their attempts to attack a CRPF camp were foiled. The bodies of terrorists were recovered from the site along with 2 AK-47 assault rifles and 8 magazines.
At the end of the operation, 2 terrorists have been killed. Arms and ammunition were recovered. And whatever we have got from the preliminary things, it is Lashkar-e-Toiba outfit. One JKP constable sustained a minor bullet injury. He is absolutely out of danger.
2 militants, however, managed to escape after the army foiled another suspected terror attempt in Jammu's Raipur-Domana area on Tuesday morning. An alert was sounded in the area after 2 unidentified men approached the main gate of the camp early in the morning and fired at the sentry post. Meanwhile, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti paid tributes to the 5 army men who were killed in a terror attack on Sunjwan military camp on Saturday. 6 soldiers and 1 civilian were killed in the attack. 3 heavily armed JEM terrorists were also killed in the retaliatory action by the army.
हम तैयार हैं और हमेशा सतर्क हैं, लेकिन क्योंकि ये प्रॉक्सी वार है, प्रॉक्सी वार में कभी न कभी तो दुश्मन को मौका मिलता ही है जब वो इस प्रकार का गुरिल्ला वारफेयर में या इस फिदायनी जो कोशिश करते हैं तो उनको कभी मौका मिलता है। लेकिन जिस तरीके से हमारी सेना, हमारी सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस, हमारी पुलिस बड़ा बहादुरी के साथ उनको जो है लड़ रही है और उनको उनके इंजाम तक पहुंचा रही है।
Minister Rajnath Singh and Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Monday reviewed the security situation in Jammu and Kashmir. The Defence Minister blamed Pakistan for the recent attacks in the valley and warned that Islamabad will pay the price for the misadventure. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television. Well, the Defence Ministry on Tuesday approved capital acquisition proposals worth 15,935 crore rupees at a meeting of the Defence Acquisition Council chaired by Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. The proposals include purchase of 7.4 lakh assault rifles at an estimated cost of 12,280 crore rupees, purchase of 5,719 sniper rifles for the Indian Army and Indian Air Force at an estimated cost of 982 crore rupees, and essential quantity of light machine guns at an estimated cost of over 1,819 crore rupees. The purchases are intended to strengthen the defense capabilities of the armed forces. They include procurement of anti-submarine equipment, including advanced torpedo decoy systems for the Indian Navy at a cost of 850 crore rupees. Well, President Ramnath Kovind has termed the government's Ujjwala scheme as a step towards women empowerment. He said this while hosting an LPG Panchayat at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, which was attended by 100 women beneficiaries of the Ujjwala scheme.
President Ramnath Kovind met over 100 beneficiaries of the government's Ujjwala Yojana at the Pradhan Mantri LPG Panchayat. Beneficiaries from 20 states shared their experiences of how clean cooking fuel has changed their lives. Complementing the Petroleum Ministry's target to distribute LPG connections to over 8 crore beneficiaries, President Kovind said the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana had brought smiles to the faces of crores of families.
आज जरूरत है कि एलपीजी की सुविधा का उपयोग करने वाली महिलाएं आपस में मिलें, बैठें, बात करें, अपना अनुभव बांटें, सलाह मशवरा करें। इसी तरह से उज्ज्वला योजना के बारे में जो जागरूकता है उसका प्रचार और प्रसार हो रहा है।
Speaking at the event, Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan said LPG connections are encouraging rural communities to turn to clean fuel. He also stressed that the Ujjwala Yojana had saved lakhs of women from health complications arising out of use of traditional means of fuel.
आपकी सरकार के लिए सामाजिक न्याय एक स्लोगन नहीं है, ये करने वाला काम है। निधि ने अभी कहा कि हमारे एक उज्ज्वला परिवार बना है। ये एक सरकारी कार्यक्रम सहज बचा नहीं है, ये एक जन आंदोलन की रूप ले चुका है, जन भागीदारी का रूप ले चुका है।
Over 100 women took part in the Pradhan Mantri LPG Panchayat. So far, over 3 crore LPG consumers across 712 districts have benefited from the scheme. The government is now aiming to extend the scheme to 8 crore families. The LPG Panchayat was first launched in September in Gandhinagar. It's aimed at encouraging rural households to adopt LPG. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also interacted with the beneficiaries of the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Thanking the Prime Minister for the scheme, the beneficiaries told him how the use of LPG cylinders had made a difference in their lives. During the interaction, the Prime Minister also spoke about the government's Saubhagya Yojana to provide electricity connections to every household. He also underscored the need to end all forms of discrimination against the girl child. The Prime Minister also exhorted people to work towards ensuring cleanliness in their villages. Union Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas Dharmendra Pradhan was also present on the occasion. Well, let's now get you the latest news from pole-bound Northeast. Well, Tripura Chief Minister Manik Sarkar said that his government is not facing 25 years of anti-incumbency. In an exclusive interview to Rajya Sabha television, he said that his government will come back to power in the state for a 6th straight time, breaking Jyoti Basu's record. The Chief Minister also spoke about the challenge posed by a resurgent BJP in the state. Let's listen in.
Joining me is the Chief Minister of Tripura, Mr. Manik Sarkar. Welcome to Rajya Sabha television, sir. More than 2 decades of left front rule in Tripura, but many say that the left is facing its toughest battle in 2018. Would you concede?
No, every election is always a tough battle because it is nothing but, according to us, a higher form of political struggle. So political struggle, and if it is in higher form, naturally it will be tight, tough. So nothing new in it.
BJP has expanded its footprint in Northeast and it has emerged as the main challenger here in Tripura as well.
BJP, they are growing at the cost of a section of opportunistic earlier Congress leaders. They have their followers. All followers have not followed to them. A section of them, they are following them. And accordingly, with this supporting base, BJP is now actually moving around. BJP has not yet been able to develop their ideological and political base here. This is our estimation and understanding.
And how do you look at BJP's alliance with the IPFT?
This is nothing but an unholy, opportunistic alliance. This is very bad. BJP is a national political party. They are running the show from Delhi. They have been claiming that they are the nationalist political party. They are the defender, only defender, champion for the unity, integrity of the country. This IPFT, this organization has been created none other than by NLFT, the unlawful organization that has been declared by the government of India. They have their camps in Bangladesh. So they have extended their support even in this election to IPFT. Knowing all these things, how party like BJP aligning with them, the people are asking this question now.
But sir, your party is also fighting anti-incumbency here in Tripura.
Absolutely not, because the Left-Front government, since its inception, has not yet taken any such stand which goes against the interest of the common people of our state, and also has not taken any such stand which goes against the progress and development of the state. Thereby, people, they have voiced this slogan, that this time they have voiced this slogan, Left-Front government shall have to be constituted for a term with more vote, more seats.
Right. Thank you so much for talking to us. So Mr. Manik Sarkar is absolutely confident that he will retain power yet again in Tripura. From Agartala, with camera person Jitendra, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, another news now. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, who was on a campaign trail in Tripura, questioned the law and order situation in the state. He said that while law and order is in control in UP, women in Tripura are unsafe.
उत्तर प्रदेश देश का सबसे बड़ा प्रदेश है और वहां पर 22 करोड़ की आबादी है और हमारे पास 14 लाख सरकारी कर्मचारी हैं, लेकिन हम लोग अपने सभी कर्मचारियों को 7th पे कमीशन दे रहे हैं। लेकिन दुखद है कि अभी तक त्रिपुरा के अंदर त्रिपुरा की सरकार अपने कर्मचारियों को 4th पे कमीशन ही उपलब्ध करा पाई है। पूरी तरह अराजकता को बढ़ावा दे रही है और इस अराजकता को बढ़ावा देने का ही परिणाम है कि कानून व्यवस्था की स्थिति यहाँ पर अत्यंत बदहाल है। यहाँ पर पिछले 1-1.5 वर्ष के दौरान भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं पर लगभग 550 से अधिक बार हमले के मामले सामने आए हैं और 11 भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं की निर्मम हत्या भी त्रिपुरा के अंदर हुई है। यहाँ पर महिलाएं सुरक्षित नहीं हैं। जिस प्रकार से मुख्यमंत्री के स्वयं के क्षेत्र में भी महिलाओं पर भारी अत्याचार हुए हैं।
The Congress has said that its fortunes will revive in Tripura. Its election in charge in the state said that party MLAs and workers leaving the party is a temporary issue.
In fact, the Congress organization in the state is there. The MLAs have gone. And BJP has suddenly entered here. They didn't have even a single MLA here. They didn't have organization because simply they are in power at the center. They are trying to put all their pressure in Tripura. It is a temporary phase for Congress. We will revive. Congress party will revive in Tripura. You have seen that Congress party was ruling in the state. We were in the opposition for some time. And revival of Congress is taking place not only here, all over the country.
Meanwhile, Congress President Rahul Gandhi concluded the first leg of campaigning in Karnataka on Tuesday. Interacting with the media, Rahul said that he met lakhs of people in the course of his 4-day visit, asserting that there is a good atmosphere for his party in the state. He also said that if his party is voted to power at the centre in 2019, it would reform the current goods and services tax. He said his party wants to simplify the current tax by trying to make it a single slab tax and cap it at a decent level.
कर्नाटक में हमारा बहुत अच्छा दौरा हुआ। लाखों लोगों से मैं मिला, बहुत अच्छी बातचीत हुई, बहुत अच्छा माहौल है कांग्रेस पार्टी का प्रोफेशनल से भी काफ़ी अच्छी बातचीत हुई और थोड़ा मैंने उनको आज बताया कि बीजेपी हिंदुस्तान के इंस्टीट्यूशंस को कैप्चर करने की कोशिश कर रही है, आरएसएस अपने लोगों को हर इंस्टीट्यूशन में डालने की कोशिश कर रही है, तो इन्होंने भी कहा ये बिल्कुल गलत है।
Well, moving on to some other news now. Based on the living conditions, the government has planned to release a list of 116 selected cities. Union Urban Development Minister Hardeep Singh Puri today said that the cities will be tested on 15 parameters like education, health, safety, employment and governance, pollution and housing. Here's a detailed report.
The Urban Development Ministry is ranking states and cities in India on the basis of living conditions. The Livability Index, based on 14 crore people of 116 cities, is expected to be released in the next few months. Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri is hoping that this will increase competition to improve the facilities among cities.
हर एक शहर में 79 पैरामीटर्स हैं, उन पे क्या काम हो चुका है, क्या किया जा रहा है, गवर्नेंस, हेल्थ, एनवायरनमेंट, और उस टेम्पलेट को यूज़ करके सिटीज़ की क्या ग्रेडिंग होगी आपस में। एक तो वो है लिवेबिलिटी इंडेक्स की परिभाषा सिर्फ एक ही हो सकती है, ईज़ ऑफ लिविंग, कि जो नागरिक हैं किसी शहर के, उनको जीने में नॉर्मल लाइफ जीने के लिए क्या क्या सुविधाएं दी जाती है।
On Tuesday, Puri inaugurated a national orientation workshop on assessment of livability indices. Heads of the local bodies from states and major cities took part in the workshop. There are 15 distinct categories covering aspects such as governance, health and education, safety, identity and culture, economy, pollution, mixed land use and compactness, open spaces, urban mobility and various core urban services.
जिनकी रैंकिंग मान लीजिए पहले 5-10 में आएगी, उनकी ये कोशिश रहेगी कि वो मेंटेन करें, और मैं मानता हूँ जो अखीरले 10% या 20% में परसेंटेज में आ रहे हैं नीचे से, उनकी ये कोशिश रहेगी कि वो इम्प्रूव करें। इससे बिहेवियरल चेंज आती है।
Addressing participants, the minister said that purpose of the workshop is to make the states and cities understand the complete process for assessment of livability indices by the selected agency and deliberate on various issues and get feedback on the proposed methodology. He said that the list is being prepared with the help of global organizations and Economic Intelligence Unit and is expected to be ready by June. All the standards in the list are also strongly linked to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Panchanan Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, moving on. Now, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu interacted with the officer trainees of the Indian Institute of Public Administration in Delhi. Addressing the officers, Vice President Naidu said that they must focus on improving the lives of the poor. He also urged the officers of all government departments to have a pro-poor, pro-rural approach. Here's more. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has urged officers and civil servants to come up with out-of-the-box ideas to ensure proper delivery of services. Addressing an interactive session with participants of the Advanced Professional Program at the Public Administration Department of IIPA in New Delhi, Vice President Naidu said upliftment of the poorest of the poor should be top priority.
The Parliament, the political parties, the politicians, the policy makers and the administrators, every one of them must have pro-poor, pro-rural, pro-women, pro-weaker section approach. That is very much required to bring the country and various sections of society on par with each other. The urban-rural divide, that should not be allowed to grow further. Education, employment, entertainment, economic enhancement and enhanced medical facilities, they drive people from rural area to urban area.
The Vice President said officials should be competent, creative and proactive and must encourage people's participation in governance. He also called on every citizen to become an active contributor in nation building. He said it is important that fruits of democratic governance reach every last person.
You must always think of how to improve the services, how to improve the delivery in whatever department we are. So, friends, we must try to deepen the roots of parliamentary democracy and ensure that the fruits of democratic governance reach all the people and each Indian becomes an active contributor to the building of new India.
The Vice President asked all participating officers to learn from the best practices worldwide and apply them imaginatively to the Indian context. Rajkamal Rao's report for Rajya Sabha Television. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has called for speedy trials in courts. He was speaking at an event to mark the launch of a book Trial of Truth written by Senior Advocate and Additional Solicitor General Pinky Anand and Gauri Govardhan. The book examines criminal cases that have captured public interest and their trials. The Vice President also underscored the need for strengthening the judicial system to ensure speedy justice.
The administration of justice needs to be competent, swift, objective and efficient. Otherwise, the very purpose is lost and people lose the confidence in the system. Be it political management, administration or judiciary, things should be acted fast. There are reasons. I am not casting any aspirations on any system, but and moreover, we are living in a new age, aspirational India. People's aspirations are very high, and we are also living in a situation where 65% of Indian population is below 35 years.
Well, encoding a prolonged dry spell, snow lashed several parts of North India. In Jammu and Kashmir, the first major snowfall was witnessed in many areas of the Kashmir Valley this winter. The fresh snowfall has led to the closure of Jammu-Srinagar National Highway for vehicular traffic due to accumulation of snow around Jawahar Tunnel in Kazigund area. Meanwhile, in Himachal Pradesh, the higher areas of Chamba, Kullu and Shimla are also experiencing fresh snowfall. Tourists are enjoying fresh snowfall at Manali, Solang, Nala, Kufri, Chail and Narkanda. The local Met Department has predicted rains and snow at mid and high hills for the next 24 hours. Well, let's now take a look at some more news from across the country and nationwide. By polls to the Gorakhpur and Phulpur Lok Sabha seats in Uttar Pradesh and Araria in Bihar will be held on March 11th. Gorakhpur and Phulpur seats were vacated by UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and his deputy Keshav Prasad Maurya, while Araria Lok Sabha seat fell vacant following the demise of RJD MP Mohammad Taslimuddin. The last date of filing nominations for the by-polls is February 20th and the last date of withdrawal of candidature is February 23rd. The results will be declared on March 14th. The assembly by-polls for Bhabwa and Jehanabad seats will also be held on March 11th. On Saturday, the ruling Janata Dal United announced that it will not contest for any of the three seats. A blast on an under-repair ship at Cochin Shipyard Limited killed 5 people and injured around 11 people. The blast took place inside the water tank of a docked vessel. An inquiry commission has been set up to probe the cause of the accident. Well, news now from South Africa, where the African National Congress Party confirmed on Tuesday that it's recalling President Jacob Zuma from office. The party, however, clarified there was no deadline for Zuma to resign. The decision was taken after a 13-hour-long meeting of the ANC's leadership committee in Pretoria. The scandal-tainted president is expected to respond to the recall decision on Wednesday. As the ANC's leadership battle grinds on, the opposition parties have called for early elections. An opposition request for a no-confidence vote against Zuma is still being considered by the parliamentary speaker. Jacob Zuma's presidency has been marred by corruption scandals, slow economic growth and record unemployment that have fueled public anger. Well, here's a roundup now of some other news from around the world in Global Buzz. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange will continue to face detention if he leaves the Ecuadorian embassy in London after a British judge upheld a warrant for his arrest. Assange skipped bail to enter the embassy in 2012 to avoid extradition to Sweden over allegations of sexual assault and rape. Although Swedish prosecutors dropped the investigation against him, he still faces arrest if he leaves the embassy for breaching his former bail conditions in the UK. Russian President Vladimir Putin said that he had discussed the Middle East conflict with his US counterpart Donald Trump at the start of talks with Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas. The Palestinian leader was visiting Moscow in a bid to secure Putin's support after Trump outraged Palestine and its allies by recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Two armed rebel groups signed a ceasefire agreement in Myanmar in a move which the government believes will revive a peace process. The new Mon State Party and Lahu Democratic Union inked the national ceasefire. The agreement was signed in Myanmar's capital. State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi welcomed the national ceasefire agreement. A Russian search team continued to search for clues and body parts in a snow-covered field in Moscow, where a Russian passenger plane crashed on Sunday, killing all 71 people on board. The Russian Emergencies Ministry said that the search teams had combed 3 lakh square meters of the field and found 500 pieces of plane debris along with 1,400 body parts. However, the cause of the crash is yet to be determined. Well, let's now take a look at some news from the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. Canada won the preliminary round of the women's ice hockey event, beating Finland 4-1 in the competition. Megan Agosta scored the opener for the Canadian team, while Jillian Saulinia scored the 4th goal to seal the victory. Meanwhile, American Chloe Kim won the women's snowboard halfpipe gold at Phoenix Snow Park. Kim produced a top score of 98.25 points on her third and final run to beat China's Liu Jieyu by 10 points, who secured bronze. In the men's snowboard halfpipe event, Australia's Scotty James and 2-time gold medalist Shaun White of the US advanced to the 12-man final. White scored 98.5 to become the best scorer, while James stood second with a score of 96.75. Austria's Marcel Hirscher won his first Olympic gold medal in the men's combined alpine event. Hirscher won with the combined time of 2 minutes and 6.52 seconds over the downhill and slalom events. Well, that's it on this newscast. Good night.